We're making bananas Foster. Lighten your dessert on fire? What could go wrong? Okay, this is going to be a great bananas Foster recipe, and one of the things we're going to do is at the end we're going to put some nuts on it. So we're going to start by toasting those and get a little bit of my butter in here and heat that up. So anytime you're using nuts for pretty much anything, you're going to want to toast them because it really brings out the flavor and really makes a difference in your end product. And so we'll kind of watch those closely and get those toasted. And while we're doing that, we'll get our bananas ready. We're gonna cut them into thirds. And I'm gonna do it with the peels on. You don't have to do it that way, but if the banana is a little mushy, that kind of makes it easier. So first I'm gonna cut it in half. So I kind of lied. Cut that in half and then cut those halves into thirds. Let me know down in the comments whether or not you've ever had bananas Foster. And one of the things when you're doing this is you want to have a banana that has started to ripen, but is not very ripe. In other words, a little bit of the brown on there is good. You don't want it to start getting too soft or it's just going to completely fall apart when you're cooking it. Okay, so we've got our nuts toasted. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our butter, a stick of butter. We're going to stick it in the pan here and get the heat going on that. I'm gonna go with a medium-low heat on that. In the butter, we've got 3/4 cup of brown sugar. We've got half a teaspoon of vanilla. We're gonna mix that in the brown sugar, and we're going to put that right in there. Okay, and we're going to want to slowly dissolve the sugar, melt the butter. Okay, I ended up bringing this up to a medium-high. We're just going to do that for a little while. As it starts to bubble, then we're going to reduce it back down to a medium-low. It'll help keep it from separating. And then at this point, I'm also going to put in my cinnamon. Got about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon here, and I'll put most of it in, but I'll reserve a little bit for the end. Stir that in. Okay, now while that's getting nice and bubbly, I'm going to reduce that down to a medium-low. And if it's still bubbling, I'm going to end up going to low, because we don't want to cook it too fast. And give it an occasional stir. So let's talk about bananas Foster here. Years ago, there was this Welsh privateer by the name of Captain Henry Morgan. And he worked down in the Caribbean, Central America. And so one day, as what the privateers did, they were kind of pirates that were sanctioned by the British government to attack Spanish fleets and steal their gold. One of these days, Captain Morgan was outgunned. And to create a version, he had this ship that had all these bananas on it and sugar, you know, kind of the things that come from down in that area. He dumped his rum all over it, lit it all on fire to create a diversion while he could escape from the Spanish. And of course, none of that's true. But we are going to use Captain Morgan's rum. And what really happened is it comes from New Orleans, and a chef down there made this for someone at their request for a customer, and it kind of became famous. It's a great dessert. It seems intimidating because it's a flambé, but really, it's really not that hard to do. Okay, this is coming together nicely. I'm gonna pop it up to medium. And then when we put the bananas in, what we're going to do is we're only going to cook them for about 30 seconds on each side so that they don't get too mushy. I want to bring this up to heat so it'll cook those bananas. Okay, now it's starting to bubble up a little more than I'd like, so I'm going to drop it back down to the medium low, and I'm going to put my bananas in there. I'm going to use a fork and a knife so I don't burn my hands, because that caramel is really hot. And I like to start with the flat side down, but you can do whatever you want. Now we've lost all our sizzle. I'll get the hang of this thing yet. Back to medium we go. If you feel the need, give it a little stirring. You don't want that sugar sticking to the bottom. Maybe bathe these things a little bit, or I should say baste them. Okay, I'm gonna start flipping them over. It's a little bit longer. Okay, and then just when the bananas are about ready, we're going to put our spiced rum in there. It's 3 ounces of spiced rum. If you're on an open flame, I recommend using a measuring cup so it pours a little easier, and you make sure you don't spill it. This will catch on fire. If you're on an open flame, turn off the flame, put it in, and then turn it back on afterwards. And then just ignite it. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to put the rest of that cinnamon in there. Kind of sparks up there real good. And you just run it until that burns off. And there we go. Time to grab some ice cream. Okay, so you just take your bananas, put them beside, on top, whatever you want to do. Let's do this, a little bit messy. Then you're going to take some of this grape syrup and just drizzle it over the top. Now, if you want to make this without the alcohol, then be my guest, but that spiced rum does add some flavor. Maybe if you do it without the alcohol, add a little bit extra cinnamon. And if you want to do it without the mess, good luck. And put your nuts right over the top. I might have cooked these nuts a little bit too long, but I'm okay with that. Okay, you ready to try this?
Yes,
I didn't burn the kitchen down.
I'm glad.
Well, you never know.
This is really looks yummy.
Oh, that's good.
That's very, very good.
Get a piece of banana in here. Toasting those nuts really makes a big difference. Anytime you're cooking with nuts, putting nuts on something, toast them.
Oh, lovely.
So, if you'd like to see more recipes like this, then subscribe to our channel. Let us know down in the comments what you'd like us to make. We'll try not to screw it up too bad, and no promises that we'll even try, but we'll try. So if you got any value out of this, click that like button, and we'll see you next time on The Flavor Crew.
Bye.